WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I am in Scotland. I have a bottle from Bracken. What? You've never heard of Bracken? It's from Lidl, the German discounter that's trying to conquer the world, and they actually have their own whiskeys. This is a 28-year-old Speyside, 46%, whiskey base number 104497. And this was, according to Whiskey Base, distilled 1989 and bottled 2017. Now, the original price here in Germany was, hold your horses, 68 euros for a 28-year-old Speyside. I didn't buy it. This was originally put out on the market in 2017. I think I actually had it in my grocery cart, and then I was like, I don't need it. Boom. And then what did I do? I waited 3 years. And then somebody said, hey, Jason, the bottle of the whiskeys you didn't buy from Bracken from Lidl are online on sale, off by 20%. Would you please buy it for a bottle share? So I did. This is the 28-year-old, and this is the 27-year-old. So I'll be doing a video about this as well. Green for Islay, red for Speyside. Yeah, so what do we know about this whiskey? I think I have the chirping sounds basically here from the whiskey vault. We know nothing. Well, we know the age, 28 years old. We know the region, Speyside. We know that it's 46%, and we know that it's colored. It says here in German, mit Farbstoff Zuckercouleur. And that's it. It might actually be older than 1989. We do know that it was aged in oak. We do know it's a single malt, so it does come from one single distillery. But which one? Will we ever know? Probably not. On the can here, the tin, it says Wallace and Young is the producer. Pot still is copper. Region is Speyside. All right, so I'm just going to nose it first of all. Does it smell old? Yes. Does it smell 16 to 18 years old? Yes. Does it smell like it's 28 years old? No. But it does smell 16, 18 years old, which is nice. And that's a good age for whiskey, and especially for single malt Scotch. As we know, maybe with bourbons, you go up to 8 years old, and it's like, oh, this is the pinnacle. And 12 years old is maybe even on this side of the wood curve. And then anything going down to 23-year-old Pappy Van Winkle, you're chewing on a popsicle stick. It's so much oak, George T. Stagg, so much oak, not the Stagg Jr., the old George T. Staggs, that it's almost too much. And the same thing with Scotch. Anything up to 18 years is very nice, with different climate, a lot cooler climates, more mild climates, less temperature change. Therefore, it takes longer. American virgin oak is used always in bourbon, usually used refilled hogshead that's been used twice or 3 times for a good Scotch for 18 years. So it actually has that effect, and then it starts to go over, and I think this is almost over that edge, to be honest. On the nose, though, it's nice. It's a little bit of a candied perfume, a candied orange perfume. It's got some of the malt sweetness in here. And it's got some of that woody, oaky spices. All right, cheers. Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 I hate it when a whiskey does that. It's, oh, this is nice. And then, well, I should do this. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, that's about right. The wood kicks in, and it's an old tannic astringents here, and then after a while, after the finish, the sweetness kicks in. That moldy sweetness, and it just continues on. I have no idea where this comes from. I have a few guesses sometimes. I kind of think that Bracken, especially I'm not even sure I'm saying this right. Yeah, I basically have no idea where this comes from. There's so many different Speyside distilleries out there that actually sell or have sold casks off Yeah, what happens is basically most distilleries do not only produce 100% single malt. For example, Glenfarclas, um, great producer of single malt. They used to produce 60% for the malt, for the blend industry, and then 40% for the malt. Now they're up to 65% malt and 35 blends because they just don't have enough distribution to sell all the whiskey they make themselves. And getting selling off casks that you make today and getting the money tomorrow, it's much better than making whiskey today and then selling it after 21 years and then getting your money. So you always have, or you usually have, a bunch of weeks in the year, maybe a month or so, that you produce and you sell those casks immediately. And then whatever happens to them happens to them. You do not sell them with your name rights. You will definitely not find an independently bottled Glenfarclas anyplace because they actually sue people and take legal action against them, which is their good right because, hey, that's our name. And if you use our whiskey and we sold it to you without the right to use the name, then don't do it. And so maybe it's a Glenfarclas, even though Glenfarclas is not Speyside. They are in the Speyside, but they say it's Highland here on there, and it's always confusing for me what that is. So would I recommend buying this whiskey? Yes and no. On the value for money, I'm going to give it more of a C minus because I'm also going to give it about a C minus for the taste here. As I said, it goes boom. Maybe it's a C. Mm-hmm. Too much wood, too much astringency. Also, yeah. It's a C minus. And because it's a C minus in taste, I don't care what the price is. It's probably not worth it. And even though it used to be, as I said, 68 euros, and now it's only 53 euros, it's 21% off. It's still a C minus in taste. I would buy it to basically impress someone who doesn't know much about whiskey. So if they do know a lot about whiskey, they'll look, oh, Ben Bracken, oh, that's from Lidl. Are you crazy, boy? Don't do that. If your father-in-law or your uncle or your best buddies don't know anything about whiskey enough that they say, oh, Macallan is great and Pappy Van Winkle is what you have to drink, then buy this and show them off. Oh, look, guys, 28-year-old whiskey, single malt, hey, from Speyside, impressive. And they'll probably lie to you and say it's the best whiskey they've ever had. That's the reason to buy it. There are basically three big lies out there I'd like to debunk real quick. Older is not better. No, as I talked about the Pinnacle. More expensive is not better. I've had €1,000 whiskeys or $1,000 whiskeys that do not taste great. I've had whiskeys that are 12 euros or 20 bucks or less that taste much, much better. Price is not the factor which guarantees good price. And the last thing is color. The darker the color, not necessarily the better the whiskey, especially if they're using E150A, which is sugar coloring, which is coloring here, caramel coloring. If you look at Dalmore, you look at a lot of other things, and even now we have specially prepared casks, sherry casks that are even darker than usual to give more color, and the taste is not necessarily better. So older is not better, more expensive is not better, and darker is not better. Now, Jason, you ask yourself, what should I buy then? That's really the question sometimes. I've tried over almost 2,000 different whiskeys now, and it's really good to get the advice of others. Go online, go to YouTube or other, and just go to Google, type in the whiskey you want to have and reviews, and take a look at a couple of people you trust, and you'll find their opinions. Now, it'll be basically 5 people say that and 4 people say this, and so you have to make up your own mind. So sometimes, some people like to have it, is to buy it, try it, or avoid it, and this would definitely be a try it whiskey. So if you have a buddy that has it, or if you can get something at a bar, which you probably won't with Lidl, but if you try something, a little sample maybe before you buy it, that's what I would do. This is definitely not a recommendation to go out there and buy the bottle. Now, it's not something I would avoid either because it is an interesting whiskey. It has somewhat of an interesting story. And Lidl and Aldi, for that matter, have great, great wine selections. And they're working actually on building up their whiskey selections as well. So it's interesting to see what will come out next. All right, Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Thank you very much for watching, and watch out at your local Lidl. Maybe if it's in a country or state that can sell alcohol, you might actually find some very old whiskeys there, and you might want to give them a try, one or two of them. All right, all the best. Whiskey Jason here. Bye bye.